So I just harvested some of our beans this morning, but I wanted to show you what they look like. These ones here are our favorite. They're the sugar snap pea. These ones here are green feast pea, and this one here is the blue shelling snow pea. Whoop. This is what I've just picked today. So you can sort of tell the size of harvest, but also these ones had a slower start, and they're the ones that I've picked them from. They're the ones growing in a container, but I do have these also growing on the main trellis, but they've only just started to set some blossoms, so it'll be cool to see how much I get from the plants I've got in the garden of this one. So oh, and this is my coffee, which is unfortunately empty now. So the sugar snap pea, it's our favorite because the casing tastes to me just as sweet as the peas inside, so I like to just munch on this whole, and it very rarely gets inside because we just snack on it outside. Oh gosh, I just set off all the bees. Whoa. Whoops, that was not my intention. These are the Napa cabbages that went to seed because it got a bit too warm. I just brushed past it and they all went crazy. So this is the sugar snap pea. So from down here, that's how tall it goes. So it's sort of, the biggest one is just over halfway. The green feast pea is just over halfway as well. So those two were the first ones I planted at the same time. But that one over there, that's the blue shelling snow pea that I planted after these two. And it's the best growing one of all of them. Yeah, even the ones on there was one, so I think these ones, there was a couple on the end that I planted later than the rest of them, but yeah, it looks incredible, and it's at the top. You can see it's starting to set blooms now. Everything else is starting to get bigger. These finally, they're the red Welsh spring onions, or they're looking really good, so they're like a spring onion. So I haven't harvested yet from them because they're still, I don't know, I haven't eaten them, but they're still kind of little. Beetroots, this tiny one here, but I'm starting to see a bit more of a bulb forming. They are really thickly sewn together. This lettuce is still doing okay. I'm glad I planted it in the shade a bit more because with some of the warm days I've got some lettuces going to seed. This one, I don't know, it may be going. I probably need to eat this soon, just in case it does go to seed. Finally, the perpetual spinach is starting to get bigger now because the other lettuces are gone from there, so it's got a bit more sun. And the spring onions that were just my store-bought ones, they still look awesome. I've got still ahead on just these two broccolis here. They're the broccoli di Ciccio. I'm unsure if this one is starting to go to seed because I can see that some of the, because broccoli, all of the little green buds on there, they're actually just all like flower buds waiting to open. That's what broccoli is. It's a big cluster of flower buds that just haven't opened yet. But some of them look like they're starting to open. I can like see yellow underneath. So I don't know if I'll get to eat this one. This one might just be going to flower. Like I said, we've had weird warm weather and then cold and then warm. So it might just be stressed, and so I might not be able to eat this one, but it's still really pretty and it's been fun to grow and watch that. This one looks a little better. It's still pretty small, although some of the little buds are bigger than the others. So we'll just keep an eye on that. I have been finding some more cabbage worms this morning. I've just been trying to check the plant over again. If I find any, then I just squash them with my fingers. So see those holes there? That was damage from a little cabbage worm. So I've squished him, so he's gone. And down here, this is one of the cauliflowers. See how all the leaves are all like crumply? They're not nice and smooth like the rest of these ones. I think that's from stress, possibly, because this is the one that's got aphids attacking it. All those sort of bluish white dots there, they're aphids. So I think I might come through, and you can just squish them. Gotta sort of get over that any fear of squishing bugs. But they're pretty invasive down the bottom there, and it's hard to get down without sort of wrecking or hurting the plant. So I might spray it with some more like neem oil down there to try and kill off some of those aphids, because someone's really struggling. In here there's my kale. I don't think I did very well with the planting. Like, it looks beautiful and healthy, but they're still quite small. They're very shaded out now by like, look at the beautiful broccoli here, and they're just causing a lot of shade, but they still look very healthy. They're just smaller, so I haven't been harvesting a lot. I've got some. I just pick from the bottom, but then I generally leave them for a bit longer to get a bit bigger. So next year I think I'll be planting a lot more kale, and probably I'll be putting it, thinking a bit better about the position so that it can get more sun, so I can harvest from it sooner. I have been finding little beans popping up because they're also a bit confused because of this weird warm and then cold weather. So this one, there's a bit of purpling on the outside of the bean here, so this is a dragon's tongue bean. I've been pulling them out as I find them because I want the rest of the plants here to get the nutrients. And it's likely to get cold again, which I don't think beans really like. They're usually a summer crop, so I've been sacrificing them so that the rest of the broccoli and the kale and cauliflower can continue to grow here. There's also another one down there under the kale. That one has, actually this one's got a black casing. So that one might be, but it's still got the purple streaks. So that one might be a black Valentine. So I'm not sure now. I did have on this side was, oh, sorry buddy. I did have on this side the dragon's tongue bush bean, and on the other side there was the black Valentine. So I've already pulled out maybe 4 sprouting beans, and this is another one, and there's another one there, and I can see way over at the back there where you might not be able to see, there is another one sprouting up. See my friend here? This is Cole. I got this as a birthday present from my family, all the way from Cairns. And so his name is Cole because he's guarding the cauliflowers. And I'll just also show you Mary over here. This is Mary because she's guarding the marigolds, which are still struggling because we've had this weird weather. But some of them are still coming through. Like, look, that's a new little sprout there. So you're doing a good job, Mary. They're super cute. The nasturtium here, it's doing really well. There's 4 little plants in there. That's the milkmaid nasturtium. No flowers still yet on any of my nasturtiums. And so that's the other cauliflower, which is the same as that one over there that has the aphids, but this one looks really good. I haven't seen any aphids on it yet, but it's been a little while since I've been out here. But see, the leaves look healthier. They're not getting that sort of ruffly, weird shape on them, but I'll just have to keep an eye out. And these ones here, gosh, I love this one. Look at the beautiful purple. This is the purple sprouting broccoli, and so is this one, which is less purple, but they're the same. So I haven't seen any broccoli starting on those ones yet, but still just waiting. I do need to check, I haven't checked all of them for cabbage worm. I just look underneath, I'll see like this. See, there's, you can see all holes there bitten in, and usually that'll be where the worm is, but maybe he's been eaten already, or maybe I squished him and I just don't remember. And then our other bed beside me, this is the biggest main middle bed. I went through and I pulled out a bunch of radishes from this bed because with the weird weather again, we've got a lot of them going to seed. They sort of they get really tall instead of like these ones are nice. Where's a good example? This one's a better example. Maybe this is that's beetroot. So they've got like nice little leaves down the bottom. It's nice and tight. It's not growing up really tall. And there's a watermelon. There's a watermelon radish right down the bottom there. It looks massive. I should have harvested it already, but it's been so cold. I haven't been getting out here as much. So it should look like this nice green growth. It's all compact down here, whereas ones like this, it's a bit more stringy, and I'm still learning a lot about the differences in these, but like this one looks good. All the leaves are down here, whereas this one's sort of growing up and sprouting up, and a lot of the radishes in there, they're sort of also fighting for light as well, but you do want ones that are a little bit more compact. Like these ones are looking pretty good as well. So I did harvest a lot of the ones that were like tiny and didn't have any root at all. I'll give an example. These ones have been in the ground for a while. Oops. So this was the root. So it's like tiny, it hasn't really developed much. It has this long, it's got this, see this little root, that really long stem that reminds me of like the flowering stem that you get when plants are going to seed. So I pulled out a bunch of those ones. They weren't really developing anything for me to eat, but they were just shading everything out. So I'll put that in compost. So I do need to get better at harvesting my radishes. There's also some beetroots in there, but they're still pretty small. But there's been a lot of shadowing and shading out. Some leeks in there still, they're still pretty small. Same sort of issue, I think. A lot of shading out. My other broccoli here, this is a different broccoli. This is a cauliflower. It looks beautiful. I love watching, like, see how it's like kind of like wrapping around and protecting, hopefully, the cauliflower that'll be inside. Just keep checking every now and then for little wormies. So this is that's the run that's got the watermelon radishes. This is also a watermelon radish down there, but it's pinker than the green one there. I think they do get more pink as they grow. I can't remember, but also it depends on where, oh, there's my steak. So maybe I'm pretty sure that's a watermelon radish. It has the same kind of size and shape, whereas that one there, this would be a French breakfast, yeah. And most of the ones along here are French breakfast. A bunch of them are still small. I'm starting to find some weeds in here now that I've let in a little bit more light. Most of the radishes that fill up the middle in there and in there, they're sparkler radish, which are more like a ball. They're quite cute. And I wanted to let a lot more light in so that these kales could get bigger. See behind here, there's another really tall radish. See, I sowed too thickly, so that's my fault too. But this one actually does have a bit more of a root there, that one. I'm not sure if you guys have seen this yet or not, but the cauliflowers are ripped out. They're gone. which is great because now there's more light. My lettuces, I think they're starting to go to seed. See the small leaves in there? They're getting a lot taller. I've already pulled out a few, and this is an excellent example. This lettuce here is definitely going to seed. See the small little leaves up the top there? It's really tall, going up like this, and the one next to it still looks fine. I think maybe because it's in a bit more shade. They did have the shade from the capsicums, but now, yeah, this one's gone. So that is an awesome example of a lettuce that's going to seed and one that's still fine. I'm gonna let it go to seed because it'll just be cool to see. But I may end up getting those ones out. Perpetual spinach down here. These ones look really good. They've got a lot more sun now. So I will keep harvesting off that. The marigolds in there. Some more of the spring onions here. These ones don't look as good as the ones in the beds anymore, which I'm not sure why, but I'm not fussing a whole lot because I have so much spring onion now. This big plant, like, it's massive. Like, it's just so tall. It's got a thick stem down there and it goes all the way up. So this is the broccoli de Ciccio. So it's not the purple sprouting broccoli. This is the only one of its type that I have in the garden, and like, it's just really big. I don't realize how big they get, I suppose, until you grow them. And some more dino kale in here. So now they've got more light, they'll hopefully produce a bit more, because I love having sauteed kale with radishes and onions. Delicious. Oh, and back behind me, this is the little herb planter. Still got oregano going okay. The parsley, loves it there. It is a bit droopy because I haven't watered today, and the chives as well. The coriander, I cut it all out because it was it got battered by the wind, and so it kind of broke off. You can see it's sort of resprouting a little bit, but I'll just leave it for now. I haven't been using many herbs recently much. My garlics over here. It'll be interesting to see how they go. I'm always second guessing if I need to water more or water less, because these things do, like, it's quite cool and damp in there, so it can be tricky trying to work out if they've had enough or if I should water them again. I'm not sure if I really like growing plants that you can't see what's going on underneath, because you can't really check out their progress very much. So, I don't know. It'll be a mystery. It'll be good to see. Good learning experience. And our carrots down here. They've got this weird thing on their leaves, which I haven't looked up to see what that is. It doesn't look great, so I'm thinking it's not. Some of them are still doing really good and look really nice and fresh. I have eaten just a couple little ones. You can kind of see down in there's a little bit of orange on top of one. These are the Paris Market carrots, the little small round ones. It smells really good. You can smell that carrot. That carrot's taste flower. You can smell it. You can smell it. I'm sort of jumping around a little bit this time. There's some capsicum seeds from the possum or animal that came and ate all the rest of my capsicums. That was the reason I left the capsicum plants in the beds, was because I had a couple still ripening, and something came and ate them all one night, and so then I ripped the plants out, because there were also mini chocolate capsicum plants in this bed as well, and it ate all of them as well, so then I just decided to rip them all out. So the golden beetroots there are looking good. I might try and harvest the biggest one and do something with that. The early wonders are slowly getting a bit bigger, and there's some more golden beetroots over there. Keep an eye on that. There are so many bees on this. That's why I haven't ripped it out, left it there for the pollinators. The carrots and things above these Napa cabbages are doing a lot better now that I've ripped off all the bottom leaves. So the pollinators are happy and the carrots are getting bigger, so that's really cool. Even the littlest one is flowering. Leeks are still pretty small. I haven't mounded up anymore yet. And then there's just the peas, and I took out all the radishes in here because they just weren't really growing very well. And random marigold sprang up, so I think I'll leave that and just have a marigold growing. Something else that's really cool is these. These are my new garden beds. They are a birthday present from my wonderful husband, and I ruined the surprise. Kept begging and begging for more garden space when this had been his plan from months ago, to build me more garden beds so I could have more growing space. We've been working on this project for the last couple of weekends and they're all done now. We measured out the space, got the wood, cut it to size. We did have to, I'm going to put up a video on a bit of the progress of that because the ground was quite uneven and you can still sort of see down here a little bit more. There's a bit of a drop off, so we're going to get some more dirt to sort of fill in here, because you can actually see that some of the beds are overhanging, so we're going to get some more dirt to even out this little area here. But the beds are now completely full. We put down newspaper in there. Sorry about the birds and the plane. We put newspaper in, I wet that down, and then I put some fresh, not fully decomposed compost in the left bed. And then we topped up most of the beds with just some garden soil that we got from a landscaping place, and then we put some decomposed compost on top of this one, and on top of that one I just put in some peat moss. Peat moss doesn't really add nutrients, it helps the soil to retain moisture. And then we've covered them, actually also in that one it's really cool, I put in some worm eggs, 1,000 apparently, 1,000 worm eggs in that bed to then hatch out and eat up the compost and everything, because we're going to be leaving these beds for a while. We're going to be leaving these beds for a while until spring comes around and then I'll plant in them. I have ordered some seed potatoes, which I'm thinking I'll plant into these beds. So for now they're just resting. We cover them with sugarcane mulch, and then we'll leave them to rest and get settled, and they'll start planting in them. So that's very exciting. That's one of the newest developments. So that's most of everything of what's going on in the garden. I've still got tomato seedlings that I up potted that I've been keeping inside because it's been a bit chilly. They're getting a bit big, so as soon as the weather gets warmer and the temperature is a bit more stable, they'll be going into these beds at the back down here as well. I'm planning on getting a trellis to put along in one of the beds, and I'll plant the tomatoes out in that, but that'll still be probably 2 months away. So I'm just keeping them, the poor things, in little pots until it comes time to plant them out. Ooh. Oh, that's a really good one. That's really good.